And today, I want to speak to you about this perspective that the Buddha taught with regards to the difficult people in our life. Most of us have, someone we find difficult. In fact, if you're watching this video, it's likely that you have someone in your life that has been a source of pain in some way. It could be a long-standing family relationship that's, troubled you for quite some time, or it could be something more short-term, like a difficult manager at work. But ultimately, most of us, we have someone like this in our life. Now, obviously, what we want is to live with ease. We don't want these difficult relationships in our life, right? We'd rather not have them. That's why we have so much aversion toward them. We delay contact. We try to avoid them as much as possible, or we get triggered by them. And often our interactions with these people can be messy, right? So what the Buddha taught is that the mistake we're making here is that we're viewing this person as a problem. We should not be viewing them as a problem. The Buddha says that instead we should be viewing them as a teacher, as a precious teacher. So why is this? Why should we be viewing them as teachers? It's because these people are the ones that are able to bring to surface the parts of our personality that maybe need a little work. So I'll give you an example. Okay, this is something that I've been through personally, and maybe you can relate to it. So if we have the tendency to be a people pleaser, right? We're someone that is constantly being overly kind, overly giving, overly accommodating, essentially, to the extent that it is harming our own well-being. Either, we're giving time we should not be giving. We're giving energy that we can't afford to be giving, right? This type of behavior, this type of people-pleasing behavior is common in many situations. For example, if someone's gone through a difficult childhood, it's likely that they engage in people-pleasing behavior. This is what happened with me. So what happens then is that nature wants us to come back into balance because we're not honoring ourselves. We are not loving ourselves, right? And the Buddha taught that in order to love others, we first and foremost need to love ourselves. How can we truly care for someone else's well-being if we don't truly care for our own? Do you get the idea? So to bring us back into balance, nature will send this difficult person in our life as the very person who takes advantage of us, who treats us unfairly, to give us the opportunity to learn the lesson, right? So we need to see this for what it is, because if we keep trying to avoid this person or just giving in, saying yes, yes, yes all the time, then we're not really learning the lesson. We're not learning to honor ourselves. So until we decide to rise to the occasion and speak up and set boundaries and set limits and say, you know what, I want to help you, but I also need to take care of my own well-being. Until we do this, these situations may keep coming up in our life. So when this type of person manifests in our life, this is our opportunity, our precious opportunity to learn our lesson, right? So we should recognize them for what they are. Instead of viewing them as a problem, we should see that they're here to teach us something and rise to the occasion. Actually take this opportunity to speak up, to say no, to set boundaries, to set limits, all in a mindful and compassionate way. In my own experience, this is a lesson that I've had to learn multiple times because I found it really difficult to communicate my own needs, especially in specific relationships. So the way it happened for me is that through practicing meditation, I was able to separate myself from my emotions, separate that monkey mind, that, those strong emotions, and actually see the patterns I was in, the unhealthy patterns I was in. So for example, I was able to actually see with clarity how I was giving in to requests that were not good for me. Anyone in their right mind, right, looking at it from a neutral perspective, would not say yes to the kind of requests that I was saying yes to. And this is what gave me the confidence to begin the process of speaking up, to begin the process of saying no, of setting boundaries and setting limits. And every time I did this, actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. my confidence increased and my fear decreased, right? Confidence increased, fear decreased. This happens every time that we speak up for ourselves and we say no. It's incredible. So I really hope this makes sense. The difficult people in our lives may initially appear as problems, but if we can see them for what they are, understand what the Buddha said, that these are actually our precious teachers, then it's going to help us a lot. There's a Buddhist text called the 37 Practices of a Bodhisattva. And there it says that when we encounter a difficult person, when we encounter someone that harms us, we should actually rejoice. We should become ecstatic, because this is the only person who's going to give us the opportunity to develop ourselves, whether it's speaking up for ourselves or whether it's learning to practice patience and kindness and understanding, right? It's only through these difficult people that we get a chance to become better version of ourselves. So whoever you have in your life that you view as difficult, actually just bring them in your mind's eye and view them as a teacher. View them as a precious teacher. So once we identify them as teachers, then with mindfulness, with meditation, we can separate ourselves from the emotions we feel toward these people and actually look at the patterns we're in. How are we responding to this person? What is the unhealthy way in which we're responding, and how can we change that? So this is where meditation really helps, because you can separate yourself from the emotion and see what unhealthy patterns you're in, and then begin to change them, begin to consciously change them in life. Great. So if you're new to this channel, then I want to let you know that I do offer one-to-one coaching sessions. Initially, I had started out teaching a program called Freedom Within, which is a nice step-by-step way to learn meditation. But what I found is that many of my clients actually also want to discuss some of their tricky life areas, kind of like what we've spoken about today, either just to talk things out and clear their mind, or to get fresh perspectives, mindful ways of navigating those challenges. So if you feel like one-to-one coaching could be helpful for you, then you're very welcome to book a friendly chat with me through the website, which is meditatewithrishi.com. Besides that, that's all for today. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.